Still from the Punch newspaper, wrestler to die for pounding wife to death. Great grandma collapses, dies while climbing Lagos Bridge. 3 youth threaten Lagos girl for rejecting advances. Kidnap victim recounts lucky escape, or warns residents. NDLEA nabs online tramadol distributor in Abuja. Gencos, Discos, all banks 836 billion naira amid crisis. Electricity workers call off strike, businesses count losses. And coming from X-Pact, federal government must regulate solar product quality. And in politics, Buhari's failure campaign materials for opposition presidential candidate, says SDP chairman. Wike free to meet anyone, says Ologbondiyan. Restructuring would lead to recession, says Okotie. Shekarau will decide on defection this week, says spokesperson. Obi will redraw Nigerians' political map, says support group. In entertainment, police to sanction Buju for assaulting officer. I cried for days after disqualification, says Beauty, ex-BB Niger housemate. Away from the Punch newspaper now to the Nation's newspaper. The choice of Plateau State Governor Samuel Lalong and federal lawmaker Chief James Faleke as Director General and Secretary of the All Progressive Congress 2023 presidential campaign wise. Buhari approves 3 additional orthopedic hospitals. Right ethics ensure social order, good governance. Telecoms Group open shop in Lagos. I-FLIER International spends $1 billion to support agric in Africa. Hipman, we didn't employ consultant. Nigeria to ban agric product purchase at farm gates. Ministry denies spending 18.9 billion naira on bush clearing. Lagos State Public Work Operation potholes on Monday and also on 3rd Mainland Bridge, other roads in Lagos. Foundation trained sickle cell caregiver distributes toothpick. Kwankwaso will Shekarau's camp with juicy appointments. Oil theft, Navy confirms arrest of supertanker. Lawyer appeal contempt of court judgment on Thursday. APC will retain power in 2023, says Masari. Away from the nation to now to the Vanguard newspaper. And some of the headlines include nationwide blackout as transmission workers shut down National Guild. On 2023, how PDP governors, key National Working Committee members weakened Atiku's Yola outing. On Muslim ticket, the shortest distance between Nigeria and Islamic capitals. On 2023, Akeredolu stands on Southern presidency is morally hollow. "2023 places extraordinary responsibility on ordinary Nigerians." How Atiku Tinubu obedient reacted to Kenyan presidential election results. APC accuses PDP of plot to remove Adamu. Roslyn welcome as Tinubu arrives penthouse of Obasanjo's presidential library. Bandits displaced residents of 148 communities in southern Kaduna, says Ashake LP Labour Party governorship candidate. Atiku Wike felt unnecessary, says Bode George. NSCDC orders 24-hour surveillance on infrastructural sites in Lagos. Troops dislodge Kaduna bandit camp, escape 6 ladies, rescue 6 ladies, 1 infant. Police repel gunmen attack, neutralizes 1 in a Boeing. Still on Muslim tickets, the shortest distance between Nigeria and Islamic Caliphate. Alleged traffic offense, how Lagos Council task force officials extorted 12,000 naira from pensioner. Court remands prophet for defiling minor in Ekiti. And a little bit of business stemmed from the Vanguard newspaper, why we pleaded with federal government to remove 7.5% VAT on AGO, says man. "2022 Banking and Finance Conference to focus on Nigeria's economic challenges." And a little bit of health. Monkeypox case stops 35,000 in 92 countries, says WHO. Disease surveillance expert calls for nationwide standardization of diagnostic laboratories. Nigeria makes slow progress in child health indices, says NBS and UNICEF. And now moving to the Daily Trust newspaper on $418 million Paris Club refund governors. Taku Malame says action fraudulent, self-serving. 2023 e-transmission of election result has come to stay, says INEC. 2023 polls as well. NNPP backs media trust debates. Niger, Benin, and Togo holds Nigeria 5.8 billion naira for power in 2020, says report. Why NNPP couldn't fulfill request by Shekarau's camp, says Kwankwaso. Blasphemy court dismisses Kano singer's appeal, upholds retrial. Tinubu in closed-door meeting with Obasanjo. FEC approve additional 765 million naira fee for NDDC auditors. NUJ condemn assault on member in Adamawa. On blackout, electricity workers suspend nationwide strike. Lagos to receive 2 coaches for Blue Rail in October. Youth reject call for splash of Nassani's grant. Federal government urged to strengthen TSA implementation. Saudi Arabia projects 7.6% GDP growth, flat inflation. FEM SCMB planned student loan to shorten savings. Amosun shortled reconciliation move with Abiodun, says Ogun APC. Taraba governorship, 2 PDP aspirants joined suit challenging Hagbo's candidacy. No plan to remove Adamu, says APC. High youth to Nigerians, use your PVC to sack APC in 2023. And a little bit of education from the Daily Trust. Old federal colleges seeks funds to tackle poor infrastructure. Others. Federal government urged to increase funding for unity colleges. NCCE decries dwindling enrollment in COE, says it threatens survival. How Kaduna government scholarship loan scheme is changing indigent students' lives. Federal government technical colleges to prioritize environmental measures. And moving quickly to the Daily Post newspaper. Kwara lawmaker visit collapsed bridge linking Nigeria and Benin Republic. On $418 million, Paris Club refund governors meet accuse Malami of pursuing selfish agenda. Electricity workers call off strike. Details of Tinubu's meeting with Obasanjo emerge. Role of Benue APC over ex-governor Akume's alleged plan to impose gubernatorial running mates. President Buhari approves 3 orthopedic hospitals in Edo, Plateau, and Taraba. Expose kidnappers, other criminals get 50,000 naira reward, says Ondo government to residents. Would need measures to check loopholes in TSA's implementation, says CITM boss. IBB at 81, Babangida architect of modern Nigeria, says NECO boss Wushishi. Plateau 2023 PDP appoint ex-APC chairman Dambank as DG campaign cancelled. PDP promoting plot to remove national chairman Abdullahi Adamu, says APC. 2023 Kwara APC deeply fragmented to clearly win gubernatorial election. Niger PDP vows to sanction hearing members who contravenes campaign rules. On 2023, Peter Obi visit Femi Kuti, makes promises. Hebron police nab 3 suspected criminals in the state. NDLEA arrest Abuja businessman for selling drugs online. Troops rescue 6 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. Security agencies arrest 7 suspected kidnappers in Kaduna community. Prophet remanded for defiling 13-year-old girl in Ekiti. ISWAP abduct 6 farmers in Borno, slaughter 1 victim. These are some of the trending stories from our national dailies this morning. Now let's go into details of some of them. Yes, we have this catching headline from the Punch newspaper. Peace threatened. Wike Atiku's men disagree over Hayo. The Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike's team, has given a condition for holding peace talk with the representatives of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, on Friday. Sources in the governor's team told newsmen on Wednesday that Wike's men would, on getting to the meeting, insist on the resignation of the party national chairman Iyorchia Hayo as a condition for the talks to proceed. It was, however, learned that Atiku's delegations had vowed to reject the call for Hayo's resignation. It was learned that the rift between Wike and Atiku started after the governorship ambition of becoming the party vice presidential candidate for the 2023 general election failed following the emergence of the Delta State Governor I-FLIER as Atiku's running mate. According to sources in Port Harcourt, the first demand of the governor's men at the meeting is Hayo's resignation. The sources added that Atiku's men failed to support the call for Hayo's resignation. The meeting could not proceed. And of course, I'm sure we all learned that Tinubu visited Obasanjo yesterday. APC supporters hold carnival as Tinubu visits Obasanjo. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, on Wednesday met behind closed doors with former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta. Both leaders had frank discussion. Scores of supporters of the APC in the state stormed Obasanjo's residence, dancing and singing praises of the candidate while the meeting lasted. The meeting, which started at 1:09 p.m., lasted for 3 hours and ended without any of the parties speaking to newsmen on the outcome. Tinubu was believed to have seized the opportunity of the meeting to seek Obasanjo's support for his presidential ambition. The former Lagos State Governor was accompanied to Obasanjo's penthouse within the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Abeokuta, by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, a former national chairman of the APC, Bisi Akande, and the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Huru Rubadu, among others. It was observed that the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, and former governor, Segun Oshoba, and it was received by the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, and the former governors, Segun Oshoba and Benga Daniels. Also at the gathering were former deputy governors of the state, Benga Kaka, and other ones and other state government functionaries. While Tinubu emerged from the penthouse in the hands of the crowd, which included newsmen, Obasanjo remained in though as the guests made their way out after the meeting. And the last story we'll be taking before I bring in my analyst and then you all get to react is this one from ASU President saying don't vote politicians with children abroad. The president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, on Wednesday has stated that Nigerian students should not vote for politicians who have their children studying in institutions outside the country. Oshodeke, while speaking on a Twitter Space webinar organized by Premium Times and tagged ASU Strike Revitalization Fund and the way forward. Speaking on some of the ways forward on the lingering strike, he said students should not vote for politicians who would not represent their interests. Oshodeke said, and I quote, anybody you believe cannot take care of your interests, whose children are busy studying abroad, who are living abroad, don't vote for them. I repeat, you don't need to vote for them because you don't vote for people who would take your life. End of quote. Oshodeke was responding to questions from a popular NSAS activist on what Nigerian students could do amid the lingering ASU strike. It was reported that ASU had been on strike since February 14, 2022, with hopes of resumption dashed by Nigerian students many times as the lecturers have refused to resume over what they described as a failure of the federal government to honor the agreement it had with them. Like I said before, we have lots and lots of news this morning, but this is where we just have to put a stop to read so that we can, try and analyze some of them, okay? And of course, I have my analyst in the house, but you all can always drop your comment on our Facebook page. You can use any of the social media platform, preferably Facebook, okay, right now, on I-FLIER 103.3 FM, I-FLIER 103.3 FM. That way we get to communicate more, and this is an opportunity for you all to always place your adverts on this show, okay? On Press Drive, you can place your advert, whatever it is you own, as long as it is legal. We would love to be a part of it. We know that the sole aim of every businessman or every business oriented person out there is to make profit, and when you advertise, of course, multiple profits await you. So don't let this opportunity elude you. Come place your advert on Press Drive and you would not regret you did. Yes, I have Barrister Olakpo in the house. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Marvelous.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
All right. Yesterday, the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, visited the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. What they discussed, we do not know, but one thing is sure is it is always connected to Tinubu's presidential ambition. But remember that Obasanjo has declared that it won't have anything to do with politics, ever again. That is just retiring forever. So, what usefulness is the visit to the former president's place then?
Of course, it's very useful.
Okay.
First, good morning, Nigerians. And very useful.
Okay.
Irrespective of the fact that the former president is no longer in, maybe, let's say, active politics.
Okay.
Or an active participant in it. But you remember, an ex-president is always an ex-president.
Okay.
So he knows, at least to some extent, the what and what not to do in certain times. Of course, he went through campaign again twice. Yeah. He represented his party as his party's candidate 2 times. So and of course, even to today, there will be some sort of advice and information that he knows that can be very useful to anyone that seeks to have a meeting with him. So of course, and that is why, notwithstanding that he had retired, his house is like a mecca of a sort. So almost all politicians want to have a photograph, let's say that, with him. But of course, the antics of the two of them placed together. You see, when Baba was the president, that was the time he held Lagos money for almost 8 years. They have to go to court, fight tooth and nail before the court said, okay, you do not have that power. And since then, it appears they have not been in good terms, really. But politics is politics. Going there, one thing I know the former president for is that he will always talk truth to power.
You think?
Yes, of course. He's been doing that even since this administration.
Okay.
Not even this administration, preceding this administration, during former President Goodluck Jonathan's era. So we tell them what is happening, and you remember his letter to this present government, the Fulanization and Islamization agenda, which appears to be correct eventually, especially with the Muslim ticket this party is bringing up. So it appears that, okay, it's good for him to go there, but at the end of the day, I don't think that the former president will not tell him what he thought. He usually speaks his mind.
Okay, because I was going to say that, in the case of Atiku, we all know that Atiku they've not always been on good terms. I mean, Obasanjo and Atiku now.
Yes.
They've always, and even Obasanjo came out to reject him, recently, and then the PDP had to say that he had to withdraw his statement, else they are going to do this, and then I can remember then the analyst said that that was just an empty threat from the PDP. But then the part where I'm going is, even Ashiwaju and OBJ, they are always at loggerheads. I can even remember that at one point, I think in 2013, in fact 2013 is a long time, I think not too long, Tinubu came out and then he said a whole lot about Obasanjo. Now coming out to I'm sure what he wanted to do, I don't know, but I think that even though they didn't speak to the media, so we apparently don't know what they discussed, but I'm sure that they went there for a reason, which is always connected to the presidential ambition. Now, do you see OBJ endorsing Tinubu? Okay, and even if he's going to endorse anyone, in fact, do you think he should even endorse anyone? Like, is it not better to just stay neutral and not, lift anybody's hands to say this is the person you should support or anything?
Well, he's a Nigerian, he has a right.
Okay.
So he has a right to do anything he likes with himself.
Okay.
Except to kill himself, because if he does, that would be criminal.
Right.
All right. He has a right to endorse whoever he wants to to endorse.
Okay.
But in this instance, I don't think he's going to endorse either of them.
Both
Atiku or Tinubu. No, I don't think so. Because, even from his inferences, he's been saying some people are elderly ancestors and all that.
Yeah.
So you can't just... he's just this man that you can't hold to one place. He will say his mind. That's why I said he's going to tell truth to power. So it's not the type of person that will say, okay, in 2015, because of the of the pain that PDP took the rest of the citizens through, we thought there is a messiah in this present president. They came with a whole lot of news, things that we hope that might revitalize this nation and make us to be in a better position.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they reneged on all this, on all of them, and in fact made the PDP government a saint. They appears to be even a better option than what we had now. So you see, Baba supported him then because he thought from his antecedent as a former head of state and a military, of course, that he may have an impact. He will be in a better position, comparing him with Mr. Jonathan then. But of course, he disappointed. And since then, he has not been sitting there aloof, sit down, look. No, he's been telling this government, he's been telling truth to power. He's been telling them each time they falter that, no, you can't do this. This is what you are supposed to do. And of course, he made them very public. So it's not the type that I would say we just look at a person because probably he's rich or probably because he had an ambition to rule this country. In fact, I'm not sure he's the type of person that will do that. He won't even dare. He won't want, no, let me use that word there. He won't want to endorse either of them. Peter will be okay, probably, because let me just put in quotes, he's new in this, as in wanting to become the president.
Yeah, this
also,
is first
this
trial.
Is the first trial, and some people say what he did with Anambra was excellent.
Okay.
So if that is the case, I think he might want to, go with that type of a person than just somebody that just said he had an ambition to become a president. So after becoming the president, what else? So that's the question. And apart from that, really there seems to be ancestors. Let's get out of this place and let younger ones take their destiny into their hands. And of course, they are not being helped with even their utterances sometimes, especially with their chairman saying they can borrow till eternity. you mean that now we are paying, our children will continue to pay debts, our children and our children unborn for generations. That's uncalled for, and it shows that they are no longer in this era. The analog season, they are still, bound to it, as if they refused to unbundle themselves from the analog era to the digital life now, especially as things are happening very fast. And of course, at the end of the day, he had his time with Baba Obasanjo, but whether that time is fruitful or not, we can't see.
We can't say because none of them spoke to the media.
Of course.
So, okay, now let's quickly digress, because I want us to talk about education, the statement made by ASU. But before that, let's talk about strike, because recently, just yesterday, the electricity workers, they went on strike, and that really affected a whole lot of things in our nation, Nigeria. And there used to be a time that we used to know that the only language that the government understand is strike. But then before every strike would happen, there must have been a warning. And then it seems that the government of the day seems not to be yielding to callings of the people, even the warnings. First, NAD had been warning the federal government to either do something or they embark on a strike. It is when the strike was about to begin that the federal government had to call them. Okay, and of course these people came out to tell us that it did not yield anything good, so which means that pretty soon even that's the resident doctors might likely go on strike. Now the same thing with the unions. I'm talking about education now everything is on standstill. Okay, is it that strike is not an approach anymore that the government needs to yield to, and then must it always get to that point where we have to embark on that strike before they would now call for a meeting? Because even yesterday, the strike had begun before Ngige called for a meeting with the electricity worker. And lucky us, the electricity workers had suspended the strike. Not that they called it off, which means that they probably gave them something to hold on to, and if by the end of the day it is not implemented, strike would begin. And let's look at just yesterday, no lights nationwide, according to what we heard. Okay, I understand that Oyo State electricity is blessed, you understand, because on a norms, even when there's no strike, we had issues with electricity. But the fact still remains that if not with all that happened yesterday with electricity, it means that if these people should go on strike, a lot of things would go down eventually. Do you understand? So what exactly is happening with the government that it has to get to the point of strike before they call for any meeting with the appropriate quarters? And why is it that they keep making promises that they might eventually not fulfill?
I think the government is having a cruise.
Cruise?
Yes, they don't care what happens to the ordinary citizen. All they care is they're okay, their family okay. So the rest of you can go to blazes. All they care. Because I do not see a very responsible government, playing kites or playing ping pong with our life, with its citizens' life,
businesses, everything,
and all, even their own businesses too. Of course, they know that somehow they are going to get the money. The crude is rolling out. So if that is the case, no, they don't have any problem. They can just go back home and sleep. But of course, they had problems, and they are still having them. It is just because they are not sensitive to people's plight. Yesterday, we were told electricity workers suspend their strikes for 2 weeks. Because that was what was given to them. They promised that within 2 weeks they will meet. So the strike is now.
Do you see that happening in 2 weeks? Judging from their antecedents, okay, with what they have been doing, all the times they've always called people for this day. I'm sure they gave the same 2 weeks to ASU at one point, and then it lingered till this time.
Yes. Because of that insensitivity. Things had gone awry. Strike doesn't have that potent power anymore in Nigeria. Because it is government that is responsible, that you can say you're going to strike, and they begin to look at the consequences of your strike on the economy, on the citizens, on even the social life of people. Throughout yesterday, we did not have light. Of course, I don't even know we did not have light, because we've not been having light here. So when it was said on media, in the media, that we don't, there was no light, there was total blackout of the federation, then I think, okay. And again, I was somehow confused when it came to a time, because some electricity workers too are presently on strike, especially the transmission. So that was when I now begin to look at the difference. So I think the ones that suspended their strike is the discos. So those are for the discos. But for the transmission itself, they are especially in Kaduna.
Kaduna, that's where their headquarters is.
Ilorin and some other places. So those places are still on. Those ones are still on strike. So it means, even whereas if these people, the disco workers, disco, that is distribution companies. So if the distribution companies
have suspended
their strike, and the transmission, and there's nobody to transmit energy,
it's still strike
from the generation to transmission, then to distribution.
What are they distributing?
So what do they so it's just unfortunate. Almost every time I ask, how did we come to this point? What really happened? Must we go the way of the Sri Lankans before the government can open their eyes and see what has the impact of NSAS did on this government? Or have they forgotten just so fast that the youth of this country can make things happen, especially with what they did during NSAS protest? So I think responsible government, sensitive government should have, used even the NSAS as a point of correction for their mistakes that they have made. But it appears that no, all they are there to do is just to eat, sleep, and cruise and enjoy themselves, irrespective of what is happening even to the populace. And that's why they are playing with kid gloves, even with security. The governor of Zamfara State yesterday,
Bello Matawale,
yes, banned Okada throughout the state between 6 p.m. and 8 in the morning.
Yes.
And he said they can shoot at sight. You see, it that goes to the root that things are bad.
Very bad.
If a whole governor could put the law in his hand, and encourage jungle justice, because that's what it is. So what of innocent people that are coming from work? So you just shoot them because they are riding bikes.
It means that you have to finish before the time and get home on time.
So what if they can't? So the question
better sleep at work.
So what if they can't? So there are so many things wrong in this nation that until we go back to the structure, it is not, to me, I don't think election is the next phase. The next phase is for us to talk. Let all the nations constituting this geographical expression called Nigeria, let us talk. Let each and every one of us bring our grievances to the round table, and let us begin to understand where we should go from here, because the foundation is broken already. It is not, even if they call off the strike today, resident doctors want to do their own, education was there, a whole lot of them,
a
lot of strike everywhere. So of course, at the end of the day, what are we going to achieve? Nothing. So let us come back to a round table. This country was started with a round table. The independence was gained through round table. Nobody shot any gun or anything like the South Africans. So it was a round table discussion. People were, expressing themselves and all. They made a constitution that was really federated, a federated constitution. Not this federation unitary stuff that we are practicing. So if it is not working, then let us come back. Let's call ourselves Karokwe Odofi. So let us come to a round table and discuss What is your grievances? What do you want? And let's see how we can compromise here and there and have a nation that is truly a nation, that is truly ours, not the one that somebody foisted on us, which is not working now. So it's not even the strike or whatever. It is the foundation. If that foundation is not, if you can't get it, then again, nothing. 2 weeks now to this time, I'm sure they will renege. They won't meet that whatever they have promised them to do within the 2 weeks. And even if they do, if they do, what happens to the transmission? And of course, I know immediately transmission said they are calling, or they are suspending. Maybe generation 2 will say they are going on strike. So what are we going to have at the end of the day? So if Discos suspended their strike and transmission haven't done that, then we are still strike. Strike. So there's nothing they will distribute. So that's just it.
All right, thank you so much. You all can drop your comments on our Facebook page at I-FLIER 103.3 FM, at I-FLIER 103.3 FM. We have talked about a lot of things. We've talked about Obasanjo and Tinubu's meeting, and I said that, do you see OBJ endorsing Tinubu, and do you think he should even endorse anyone? Shouldn't he stay neutral? And you've heard from our analyst already, and yes, the studio lines are ringing. Let me take this one before we go to Hassel. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, my madam.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
I was on light, ma.
Very fine, sir.
My body, sir.
Good morning, sir. Evangelist.
Well done, sir.
Good morning, sir.
This is Evangelist Sola Taiwo.
We know.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
You see, this government is a dead horse that cannot be beaten to stand. And by implication, the leader of the government has a hidden agenda. We all know that. It's too appalling for the government not to stand up to take solutions, to provide solutions to the myriad of problems we are having. They will be just getting around, going to South Africa, going to Liberia, and so on. When we are going, they donate vehicles to Niger, when we have problems in our country. You see, it's a hidden agenda. This government wants to destroy Nigeria, and we will not allow them, and we should not allow them. We should take the bull by the horn. We should face them like Sri Lanka. When the people in Sri Lanka stood up, the government behaved.
Yes, sir.
And you see, we are in problem in this country if you cannot stand up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I doubt if we would ever be like Sri Lanka, because that one was kind of full of violence. We are not violent people here.
Yes, they were not violent, but again, what happened with NSAS seems to tell me that something like that may happen, because again, when you begin to push people too much and they've not been reacting, there'll be a time they will react, like what happened during the NSAS. You know, the NSAS was unpremeditated. It was unprecedented too. It was not planned. It just happened. So because people had been, taking it, bottling it up, there's one day that it just boom, it just burst and something will happen. And that was what really happened in Sri Lanka, because I was following through even as they entered the presidential lodge and everything.
Entering presidential, this thing will not be easy here.
Of course, they have their own what is the security personnel too. Even there, the presidential guard, they always have. So, but of course, something will give. So that's just what I'm saying. If NSAS could be that successful, I think there will be a time that people will put their destinies into their hand.
Okay, 0705 500 1033, 0705 500 1033, or 091 6000 1033. Yes, now let's quickly comment before I start reading people's comments. Oh God. Okay, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Michelle from the line.
You're welcome.
Kudos to your guest in the city.
Yes.
See,
thank you very much.
There are some critical sectors that our government needs to think deeply and to be proactive on it.
Okay.
What are those? Part of one is power sector. If our power sector, if we can get it right, it will really solve the problem to 70%.
Okay.
But where is that stable electricity? Now, you just mentioned about discos, Gencos, and TCN.
Yeah.
Now, all those things, if we don't privatize it completely, and federal government to do the needful on it, we can't get it right. Do you know that in this country now, the power that we are generating is not up to 6,000 megawatts, and we have over 200 population, where there are some other countries that their population is not up to 100 million and generating more than 40,000 megawatts, even like Kenya and Egypt. Now, when I read this morning, the Minister of Power Sector said that the shortage of gas. Why we can't think deeply and do the needful? Because there are some people that in this sector, they are turning it like chop and go. That is why corruption is difficult to eradicate in this country. And we should not forget what ex-Governor Fashoda told us during the campaign, that if APC gets in the power, within 6 months, Nigeria will have stable electricity. Where is that stable electricity? And I'm just asking. So may God lead our land and get our leaders to do the right thing for us in this country.
Amen. That's a big one. Thank you so much, Sharif. Yes, I was going to ask about what the statement made by the president of the Academic Staff Union of University, Professor Emmanuel Shodeke. He stated that Nigerian students should not vote for politicians who have their children studying in institutions
abroad,
outside the country. And
yes.
then
so how many, even this
yes, I was going to ask the same question,
now.
like, do we have any of our leaders who do not have at least a child or a grandchild studying outside Nigeria?
This present contenders,
nobody.
all
I
of
doubt
them. So
if any of them.
Any of them.
That's what it means.
That's what it means. So what should we do?
It means that none of them is qualified to be voted or to be elected, okay? And then, do you think it will not be selfish of us to say that there should be a law that will limit our leaders from sending their children outside the country?
No, it's not selfish.
You know, as long as they are still in power.
No, it's not selfish.
It's not
in fact,
selfish.
if you intend to rule this nation going forward, then you should withdraw your children back. Yes, so if you intend, that intention alone.
You have that intention,
yes,
that you are already elected.
No. Because
Okay.
you have to contribute to the growth of this nation before you say you want to enjoy the benefit of this nation. Look at them. They even show it to us. They throw it to our face. They go there.
Recently, one of them.
Yes, Ingige.
Yeah.
Even the Speaker of the House of Representatives have to go there, do his. I think he's doing something. Masters.
Yeah.
Why? We have UI, we have OAU, we have many of them. And of course, again, what pains me most is that every day they kept on approving universities.
Yes, so plenty
universities.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
From
You're welcome, ma'am.
On the lingering strike between the federal government and ASU,
Okay.
the federal government grants their request today. ASU members will still come back in some months or years to come for another thing. When we look at the situation of Nigerian universities, federal or state, they are poorly funded. We don't have enough money for research. And when you even check the salaries these professors collect compared to some African countries, they are nothing to write home about. I think right now, perhaps if they could grant them autonomy, let each state fund their schools, let each state manage their schools. I'm thinking we are going to have a remarkable turnaround in that situation.
Sure.
That's my suggestion.
Thank you so much,
one thing I would just say about this granting of autonomy stuff is that government have a responsibility to ensure that everybody goes to school, and fingers are not equal.
Of course.
So, and that is what I think they are doing to destroy the government institutions and make sure that everybody send their children either to a private university or to abroad. But if that is done, for instance, look at some of the states that seems to have going the privatization way. Some of them pay as much as 350,000. So you earn 30,000 naira per month,
and you want to send
to a state school that you have to pay 350,000 naira.
That's even
so
the minimum.
Of course, that is,
we have people paying $1 million.
So we have to look at it again in a way that.
Hello. Okay, you're calling back, yeah.
Wanted to go inside.
Oh, sorry, Miss Balkis. I'm sorry. That one was not clear. You might have to call us back. Yeah, still coming from her. We have this one. Hello, Marvelous. The electrical workers' strike has been put on hold for 2 weeks. But if they had continued, the nation may have experienced a complete blackout. More than 6 months have passed since government universities in Nigeria reopened. Debts have made the economy unviable. Over the past 7 years, the level of insecurity have risen. Let's congratulate Nigerian ruling party for a job well done, please. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
On the line.
Yes, a quick one.
See, what the president of ASU said, it is bitter truth.
Yes.
But how many of our leaders, those candidates that have children here in Nigeria, none of them. So what you said is a good solution, but those candidates don't have good intention for us until they can make that law that any of our senator children or any of our president children in the schooling here. But who are those people that they want to make that law? They won't do it. So they know that law will not favor them. So that is the major problem we have in this country, because most of our leaders, they are so selfish. They don't even cater for us. Do you know that there's one student loan board that we have, those people that the benefit of it? Sure. Yes. That is why they have opportunity to want a free scholarship, go and study abroad. You know that student loan board has been scrapped since 1993, and they rename it and call it student bank. And do you know that student bank, you can't get this office across Nigeria, and they dispose a certain amount of money to it every year, and we can't trace it. So this is what we are facing in this country. May God save us from those leaders that become themselves dealers.
Okay, thank you very much, Sulaiman. Yes, and coming from Buluwatife this morning, Buluwatife Ademijuwon, good morning. Insecurity is a menace every state Nigeria is battling with, but its rate is high in the northern side, which happens to be the origin of Mr. President. These terrorists were brought into the country in a bid to make Goodluck Jonathan's regime ungovernable, but now they have become a national headache that every Nigerians have to deal with. May God deliver us. Thank you. And from Tolu Lokpe Adeyemi, good morning. It's a pity our government could put their failure to generate 5,000 megawatt on the shortage of gas. Why can't they work on the identified problem to do the needful as far as power generation and transmission is concerned? The real issue is that they have failed in fulfilling their promises to fix the power sector just within 6 months of assumption of office. The rate of unemployment couldn't have been so high like this had been. We have a stable power supply, but it's a pity that our leaders knows the truth but won't just do it because of their selfish interest. Okay, and coming from Tolu Lokwe, you continue by saying this is another corruption in action. Why approving huge sum of 776 million naira for the NDDC forensic audit again after billions have been expended without any meaningful report? So many money have gone into this region without any commensurable project to show for it. The level of corruption in this country is too high, and that is why the whole country is in this mess. It's like government is trying to do a cover-up here with the way and manner they have been handling the issue. Why is auditing this ministry so difficult? Anyways, this is Nigeria where nothing seems to be working. Okay, coming from Kemisola, was there constant power supply in Nigeria before?
Yeah,
the only language government understands is strike. ASU had been on strike for the past 6 months. Does it look like successive governments at the federal level understand the language? No, it's obvious APC administration lacks the political will to rule the nation. Okay, and still from Sulaiman Sharif. Good morning, Marvelous, an analyst in the studio. Nigeria, with a population of more than 200 million people, are currently generating less than 5,000 megawatts, which is grossly inadequate to meet the energy needs of the nation. South Africa has a population of 67 million people and is generating 46,000 megawatts, which is more than enough for the country. Ex-Governor Fashola of APC ruling party said within 6 months in government, Nigeria will enjoy stable electricity for 24 hours. Thank you, sir. You are a promise keeper. Oh God. All right. And from Kemisola again, every nation in the world borrows. The only reason it becomes worrisome is when the money is not rightfully used, invested. Nigeria is not a producing nation. We keep servicing debt. Presently, Nigerian debt profile under APC government is too high, 39 trillion naira as of December 2021, compared to what they met in 2015, 7.3 billion naira. Nigeria external debt is $40 billion. With all of this loan, what have we delivered? Absolutely nothing. It's better to take loan and use it judiciously than to mismanage it. Okay, and coming from Omade Adekule, Nigeria is still battling with basic social amenities at the age of 61 years old. What a shame. Electricity is part of the backbone of economy. Now we could not generate over 5,000 megawatts, and we are calling ourselves a country, a giant of Africa. A major problem in Nigeria is leadership, and our institution has to be overhauled. But unfortunately, the APC government we expect to relieve our pains is the one deteriorating our problem. What a government. Okay, and coming from Odeyemi James Olusoji. Good morning, Sister Marvelous. Good morning to you too. Workers' strike is a great threat to our nation. I wonder what a country like Nigeria finds it difficult to generate more than 5,000 megawatts of electricity for over 20 million citizens. And for the ASU strike, Nigeria should have been a better place for people if government do their responsibility on security and education. Good morning from Tolulokpe. Good morning, Adeyemi too. The importance of education in nation building and national development cannot be overemphasized, but it's a pity that our government doesn't take this sector seriously, because students have been on strike for over 6 months now without any hope of resumption in sight. The amount of money being hacked on daily basis is not even enough to meet the demands of ASU. Corruption has eaten so deep into our system, and that is why nothing seems to be working. They keep saying the country is broke, yet they refuse to cut down the cost of governance. The bottom line is that wrong people are the one in charge right now in the country. May God deliver us from their leadership. Okay, good morning, Marvelous, an analyst. For me, I disagree with our analysis on Obasanjo. He can endorse any one of them he likes. Okay,
that was what he said.
Yeah,
that was what he said, that he has the right to do that.
Okay,
but we don't think
he's going to do that.
Endorse either Tinubu or Atiku. That was all he said. Okay,
and of course, coming from Boluwatifade Mijuwon again. Good morning. It's high time for ASU to considerate with their demands. Okay. From the federal government, and it's high time the federal government stand up to the responsibility in giving quality education to the youth. Education plays tangible role in the growth and development of any sane society. May God touch our hearts. And the last one for this morning: what is really working in this country again? Also on strike, NEPA workers on strike. The price of goods is on the high side. When are we going to get it right in Nigeria? That's an rhetorical question that we all have to really think of. Okay, yes, this is where we have to draw the curtain on Press Drive this morning. Many thanks to you all for your amazing contribution. Sorry we were unable to take as many calls as we would have wished to. That's because we have a lot of comments in there and they have to be read too. Thanks to my analyst, Barrister Olapo. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Till next week, on Saturday rather, where we get to meet again on Press Drive. I'm Marvelous Shobalujo. Have a fruitful day. Bye for now.
I-FLIER 1 whole thing. 103.3 I-FLIER 103.3 FM Ògúngbadé la fìkàlẹ̀ sí Tiwa lẹ́tọ̀ àṣà àti àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó nítumọ̀ ẹ máa gbọ́ wa ní gbogbo ìgbà kétékété làwọn èèyàn gbọ́ wa káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé ẹ máa bá wa ká lọ nínú àwọn ọ̀tun ètò àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ètò eléyìí tá à ń gbé jáde erin lákàtàbù rédíò tá a kalẹ̀ sílùú Ìbàdàn I-FLIER 103.3 FM ìkànnì aláṣẹlà ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ má ṣàláì gbọ́ wa.
lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́ kìrìkìrì là bẹ̀wẹ̀ kúkú ndùkúlùkù I-FLIER 103.3 FM tó kalẹ̀ sókùngbàdé ńbàdàn ètò ìròyìn wọn àṣà láì fi gbákanbọ̀ kan ná mọ̀ gbọ́.
kẹtẹpẹ ìròyìn tàti rẹ títí lóde o ẹjẹ àjọgbọ. kẹtẹpẹ ìròyìn tàti rẹ títí lóde o ẹjẹ àjọgbọ. ọ̀kàlẹ̀ ọ̀kàkọ̀ gbogbo wa ló ń gbọ́ ìròyìn káàkiri àgbáyé bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní yàjóyàjó là ń gbọ́. kẹtẹpẹ ìròyìn tàti rẹ títí lóde o.